So I was wrong. I'm not going to be first. I'm not going to be first. I'm first. Everybody close your eyes for a minute. I want you to picture something for me. I want you to picture a rock. Any kind of rock. It could be the rocks that are in your glasses right now. It could be a rock, a real rock, a thick, heavy, cold rock. It could be a rock and somebody that is your rock. Okay, open your eyes. Hi everyone, I'm Brian, and I have imposter syndrome. You ask, what is imposter syndrome? Well, I figured it out because I'm really medical and I'm really smart. So I have it down. Imposter syndrome simply means is I have everything I could ever want in my entire life. I have a beautiful wife, I have a beautiful daughter, I've got 2 beautiful daughters, 2 beautiful sons. I've got a great house. Started a marketing company 6 years ago by myself called Michigan Creative. Got a wonderful staff. And we've grown to 12 in just those 6 years, but at any moment, all the time, I feel like it has nothing to do with me. Who am I to have this successful company? Who am I to have a gorgeous wife that loves me and cares for me? All of it's going to come crashing down at any moment. That's imposter syndrome. I also have a Great Dane who's 160 pounds. His name is Jupiter. Affectionately, we speak like Jupiter. I'm Jupiter! And he farts a lot. And a lot of dogs fart, right? But his farts are funny. The regular farts are hilarious, because I'm a guy and I think farts are hilarious. Anytime. You guys fart right now? I think it's funny. However, the farts that we do not like are the farts that sound like air rushing out of a tire. A large hole in the tire. Not, but like this. Then we know it's going to be bad. And it's 11 seconds later that we can feel them. And we can grab them and we can taste them and we have to leave the house. So I have great things in my life. And yet I think that it can't be due to me. Maybe the farts are my responsibility. I think I know where it comes from though. I'm pretty sure it has something to do with my dad. My father was an Army colonel, 32 years in the service, Army retired colonel, head of bases, 3 tours in Vietnam, a tour in Korea, Purple Heart, Army Ranger, jumped out of planes, and then he retired. Badass dude. He retired when I was in 4th grade. My dad was my rock. My dad raised me. He taught me everything. He taught me how to chainsaw. He taught me how to fix things. We ran the family farm together. He taught me how to be a hard worker. But the most important thing that he taught me was how to be loving to my children. And how to be, more importantly, loving to boys. Because as a man, as a gruff man, as an Army colonel, I can still feel his whiskers on my face when he kissed me goodnight. An Army colonel used to do that to me. And I can feel it to this day. And he taught me that it's okay to love my children like that. He told me it was okay to love my boys like that. My daughters were easy to love. They're beautiful. The one's right there. My sons, they're not beautiful. they smell. And one of them's in 7th grade and wears size 13s, and they're both taller than me, and they think it's hilarious. But he taught me it was okay, and those 2 boys still give us hugs and kisses every day. Later in life, though, he became angry, and he became depressed, and he became hateful of everyone and everything, and he disappeared into a small place in the middle of the woods and didn't talk to anybody, and he hated everyone, including me. Somebody that he loved, or at least I thought he loved. So maybe I wasn't that good son. Maybe I wasn't that guy that should be loved. So maybe it came from that, and maybe I was wrong. Maybe I wasn't that good of a person. But I can't really get there, because I think I'm wrong about that too. There has to be a reason, and there has to be those little pieces that I can take from him, even though there was bad stuff later on. And why I had you think about rocks is because I remember this story, and if you're a farmer out there, you probably have picked stones out of a field. And I'm not talking, hey, there's a cool little Petoskey stone. I'm talking stones, man, like big old rocks. My dad would drive the tractor, and I, in middle school, would walk behind him in the fields and pick stones out of the fields. These big, hard stones in the winter, and the fields were just thick, and the dirt was really high. We had to pick these stones out so we wouldn't hit them with the plows later on. And we put these stones on a flatbed tractor, on a trailer, and then we'd take them over and dump them in the hedgerow. It was hard work, man. Hated those rocks. Hated them. But I was doing that work. My friends were playing, this will date me, ColecoVision and Atari. And I was picking stones out of the field. But I enjoyed it because I was with him. Flash forward 30 years. I'm in those same fields and in those hedgerows, picking those damn rocks out of the hedgerows and putting them in my truck because I'm like, hey, I know where the rocks are. I can make our yard beautiful. And I'm like, I put those in there. I'm like, this is really stupid. I spent a lot of work putting all those in there, but I was excited about those rocks. And I was like, man, I put those in there. How cool is this? I can make these rocks and I can bring them home to make my yard beautiful. That's pretty cool. My sons are like, that's pretty dorky, but now I'm like, all right, so maybe there was a point greater than just the plows. Maybe those stones that I'm taking out of there are important. My dad's with me a lot, and it's not an emotional way. It's the little things that I remember every single day about him. And every time I drive by a gas station, I think of my dad. In particular, a Meijer gas station. When I was 16 and a punk, now I'm 44 and a punk. I remember getting gas for the first time with my dad, and I pulled into the gas station, and I pulled into the first pump. There was 2 empty pumps in front of me. And my dad's like, hey man, there's a guy behind you. Why don't you just pull up so he can get in? I'm like, yeah, he can go around me. Because I was smart and I was 16. And he's like, don't do that. You should always help people and be nice and courteous when you can. And I swear to this day, every time I get gas, I look behind me and think about that. Now I help people. Now I'm there for people, both in my company and at home. That was something I'll remember. Another story about my dad at Meijer. In Jackson, there was not much to do. We were in Meijer a lot. We were doing shopping together, and we were putting stuff in the cart, and he couldn't find a certain thing that he wanted. So he walked through the back, into the back of the store, and I was like, Dad, you can't go back there. You're going to get in trouble. So he walks back there, grabs a clipboard, finds what he wants, looks around like he's actually there, working, and just checking things off an imaginary list. Grabs something from there and drops it into the cart and moves on. I was like, that's the most amazing thing I've ever seen. How did you just do that? He's like, hey man, just pretend you know what you're doing. No one knows the difference. That's what I'm doing right now. But I remember telling my students, I used to teach too, I'm like, hey guys, be professional. And I'm like, if you don't know how to be professional, just act like one. No one's going to know the difference. And so that was something from him. And so from that point on, I've always tried to help people and act the very best that I could. Speaking of helping people, my sister, Karen, who's much older and much wiser than I am, and I say much older because we're videotaping this and I want her to see it. So Karen, who could be my mother, she's 16 years older than me, and people have sometimes thought maybe she is, we don't know yet. But we were in Statesboro, Georgia, her hometown, and we were at a Piggly Wiggly in Statesboro, Georgia, which is a grocery store. You've all seen it. And we were just talking, and I was like laughing, her and I were laughing, and we're just kind of making fun of each other. And the checkout girl behind the counter said, oh, mother and son love, isn't that cute? I ran back behind her, and I gave her a hug. I said, you just made my day. And boy, my sister was rolling her eyes. So when I started my company, I quit my job of 17 years as an educator, and I quit my job to start a company. And I remember being at the Tick thinking by myself, it's an incubator space, look at me, I'm an entrepreneur, this is awesome, this is great, I've got my own desk, I've got my own office, this is going great. And 3 months later, what the hell did I just do? And I called Karen, and as she picked up the phone, she put down her AARP magazine. Zing. And she said, what's up? And I said, hey, listen, I think I really screwed up. I quit my job, started a company, it's not going so well. She said, hey, listen, you're educated, you've got a degree, You can always go teach. You can always get a job. So either do that or stop complaining and run your company. And from that moment on, I took her advice, and I knew from that point that I wanted to build a really, really great company. Not just a marketing company, I wanted to build a company. Something that was great that people would talk about 10, 15, 20 years from now. So I started to think, and I started to go, well, maybe I was wrong. And maybe I am wrong. And maybe we could all pick up these stones, and the ones that aren't going to look pretty in our yard and aren't going to do what we need. And maybe the anger that my dad had later in life, those stay in the hedgerow. And the stones that are big, the ones that are strong, the ones that are cute, those come back out. And those build our foundation for where we want to be and who we want to be. So I am wrong. I can work harder. And maybe, just maybe, some of these things have something to do with me. Thank you.